Welcome back, you beautiful souls. My apologies for the long break. As a few of you know of a video that I've since deleted of a face reveal, I've been struggling with a few personal things. Also, I've had a chaotic work schedule. This will be part 0A, and this will be a three-part part 0. The first one's going to be, well, we'll get into that. But the second and third are going to be focused on more characters besides our protagonists. Well, it's going to be partially our main protagonist, 0A, our B protagonist, part 0B, and then part 0C will be a flashback episode going over a little bit of a backstory in life from our first series, from our first episode. And I decided to do it this way so that I can do part 0 without doing like a 3-hour part, which, well, 4-hour part, which most of you wouldn't sit through, and I want to keep this under an hour. So that being said, also the art for this one, you can see the artist tag in the bottom right. I couldn't find a good photo of a male elf, and this is the only one that I could really find, and there wasn't I haven't gotten a reply. So if it's if you can't read it, it's Ompled Deviant on Deviant Art. I suggest looking this person up. They do have good art. They do good three-dimensional artwork. That being said, let's get into part 0A of What If Deku Was a Perfect Vessel, with a few things added into it, but the title may change. And if anyone can come up with a good title for the whole series, do let me know in the comment section or on Discord. Just at me on Discord, and I will put a link in the description of the video to my Discord. That being said, let's get into this. Also, thank you guys for the 1.5k subs. This is the 1.5k sub video. I had planned something else, but I'm kind of meshing two ideas that I've been working with to create something that is just superb, in my opinion. And I've gotten the based fusion timeline and story set up and merging the stories of what I was going to do with them. So that being said, our story begins in a galaxy far away, nearly 500 years before the start of the very first episode. 500 years before Deku is even shown for the first time in the anime or in the first panel of the manga. On this alien world, a war is happening between two alien species. A species of, well, basically space elves, but they're not really elves. They are the basis of elven lore and cult and myths here on Earth. Well, at least on this Earth. And you just hear, and I'm not going to speak a weird language besides a few parts. You hear doors open up to this building. My prince, we must evacuate. And this is literally in the middle of a war zone. All of a sudden, the two alien beings can hear a loud boom come from outside. The prince and his advisor come running out. And they see, like, guards and stuff surrounding this strange-looking alien. He's about 6.5 feet. He's about 6 foot tall, and has his hands up with the men surrounding him. And you just hear the advisor go, "What the hell?" And Prince Valamar says, "What is it, Nerval?" Nerval stands, and he says, "The scans say he's Teryn, but Terrans were a primitive species from Galaxy A3. What? I know, my prince. This is weird. Terrans aren't supposed to be this advanced to be able to have this kind of technology." So, then, and it appears he's saying something in his native... Sorry about that. It appears he's saying something in his species language. Okay, now he's Teryn. Why aren't the translators working? And Nerval says, "Well, I'm not sure about that, my prince. It should be working." From the man's perspective, these people are definitely not human, he's thinking. That one. He seems to be their leader. Their language seems like... Wait. It can't be like Greek and Latin. It sounds like it's Greek and Latin. Hold on. Let me try this. Thuget Proskavas? Thuget Proskavagas. Thuget Proskavagas. And I know I probably butchered that. And those are actual words. He tries 5 different combinations of the words Prosvagas and Thuget. Prosvagas and Thuget are Greek and Latin for friend. And he tries 5 different iterations and combinations of Greek and Latin. Well, no, they mean refugees. Sorry, I'm reading out of my notes. They mean friend. While he's motioning to himself, basically tapping his chest with one arm while keeping another hand up. Now, from the alien's perspective, holy hell, my prince! It just spoke. It just spoke one word of our ancient tongue. What did it say, Ner? It's saying refugee or friend. It's hard to tell, but it definitely is trying to communicate with us in our language, it seems. It might be asking for help, Your Majesty. And all of a sudden, the ship flies over and pods start dropping from it and impacts can be heard. All of a sudden, a beam comes and strikes the prince through the chest, mortally wounding him. And everyone's all the men are freaking out and everything. And he's sitting there coughing up blood. All of a sudden, to these aliens' surprise, the human, the Teryn, jumps and releases some kind of energy and then flies directly towards like the swarm soldier and basically punches the thing and sends it flying back. At the same time, he looks over and they see like him jump and take out a few more, and he's doing this for a couple of minutes. Then he lands right in front of the prince as he looks down and he says one word in their language, and he says, well, he says a couple words. I can help. Like, me help, pointing to the prince. And all of a sudden, they just see the alien pull out what seems to be like a stick of some sorts, and he touches it to his hands, and then he drops the stick, and he puts his hands together and then places them over the prince. A bright light engulfs the two of them, and the man seems to have aged quite a bit. And then the prince starts coughing up, and he coughs up some more blood. And then they look down at his chest, where the 6-inch diameter hole that was through his chest, it's been completely healed. And then the alien collapses. We cut to a few days later, and the alien wakes up, and he can just hear the aliens yelling, and it's like, and the prince comes running in with like his attendant and his guards, and the man begins to stand up, and some of the guards begin to like point their weapons at him, and the prince says, "Stop, put your weapons down." And they just are freaked out, because now the alien man speaks to them perfectly in their language, and he says, "I'm sorry about that. You guys aren't from, this isn't Earth, is it?" And all the aliens, including the prince, is just baffled, and he asks the men, he's like, how can you understand our language? And then the prince, the prince attendant and the guards are like, "My prince, what did you just say?" And then the alien speaks up, and he's like, "Yeah, that's a side effect. I'm sorry I didn't ask, but you guys didn't shoot me, so I figured you weren't bad guys, and, well, I kind of gave up my own life force to kind of heal you. Your language is weird." And then the prince asks him again, this time in his actual language. It's like, how can I speak? And then the man says, well, there's these things called quirks. And, well, that's a long story. I came here to ask for help. I don't even know if I'm in my own universe. And this is when the attendant's eyes like glow a bright orange, and he's like, universe. So that's what the scans couldn't pick up from him. And then they ask him, he's like, why did you age so much, apparently, and then regenerate? And the man says, well, that's the thing, quirks. And he goes off and explains to them about his story, and then they explain what he did was stupid, but in their culture, if you save one's life, you basically are to be treated as though it was that person as themselves. At least in a social setting. Like military and other stuff it's going to be hard to explain. But they have time. So the man says, you also defended us. After you passed out, you woke up and you single-handedly saved our battalion until the motherships could get here. So then, over the next few days, it is explained to the man what it is, and he explained who he is, and he asked them. He says, "You think I could get help?" And the prince says, "Well, it's not up to me. I'm honor bound to help you. At least I will go with you to help. But as far as getting our people's help, that's up to Mother." And this is when... Sorry about the cut, but I said something that is a big spoiler. So the man asks, "So your mother's the queen of your people? That makes you a prince, your royalty?" And the man immediately gets down on one of his knees, and the prince walks over to him and picks him up, and he says, "Teryn, what's your name? You do not have to pay respects. That's another thing. You're technically family in your language would be the best way to describe it to you." So the prince explains to him about their species is at war with another species called the Swarm. They consume and eat everything in their path. They consume and conquer all species in their path, and his species is one of the few that's been able to hold them off from their stuff. And the man asks, if they're so dangerous, why is royalty? And this is when the prince's eyes glow a bright red. They change from his normal pink color to glowing to a bright red. And this is when the man says, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean any disrespect." And he's the prince is it's fine. I understand you don't quite... You're the first of your species that we've had contact with in a very long time. I think the last time that we had contact was when my mom actually was a child of 150 years. Your human years, that is. And Mom, she was not that much younger than me when, the last time our species saw yours. So this is when the man says, "So what's going to happen with me?" And the prince says, "Well, for one thing, we definitely will return you to your planet, but your scans, they seem there's been anomalies. Your DNA, it's changed." It's not Teryn, from what our archives say, but you mentioned your species has evolved to a point where you have special abilities, correct? And the man says, yes, we've more than 80%. More than 80% of the population is born with quirks, and well, a few of us are born without quirks, but with each new generation, that percentage drops more and more. So the man explains how we got there, and the Valerians they're shocked at this. And this is when the prince tells the 3 guards and his attendants that this is classified information. No one needs to no one should find out about this until we've spoken to my mother. So with that, we cut to modern day with child Deku. It all begins when Deku is about 4. He starts to having weird dreams of strange looking people. And this doesn't really change much in the story. It's just Deku thinks he's just having like normal dreams. Like when he mentions it to his mom, she just passes it off as just like a child being like a child's imagination. At the age of 5, when Deku goes to see the quirk doctor, he's saddened by this news, like really saddened about it. And when he gets home, his mom loads up the video for him, in canon, and everything goes on the same until Deku's mom comes in, and Deku turns his head just like in canon and asks, "Mom, can I be a hero like him?" with tears coming down his face. And she says, "I'm sorry." And all of a sudden, Deku and his mom sees a message pop up on the computer screen. And it reads, "Young one, do you truly want to be a hero like All Might?" And Deku enthusiastically says, "Yes, I want to be a hero like him. I want to be a hero like him more than anything. I want to be a hero that makes people feel safe. I want to be a hero. I want to be a hero more than anything. But I can't without a quirk. Then I can help," reads another message. "Will you accept?" Before Deku can reply, Inku says, "Who are you?" Before another message pops up, and it reads, "Before I answer, does the young one accept?" Deku immediately says yes. And with that, the computer screen starts to glow, and then a bright light fills the room. And as the light starts to exaptate and clear out of the room, an old man with long white hair and completely green eyes, like there's no white, no irises, starts to say with glowing green eyes, pupils, is standing there. Inko freaks out. She's yelling at us like, "Who are you? What's going on? Why are you in our room and in my house?" And immediately the man gets down and apologizes. He's like, "I'm sorry, Mother Midoriya, but how to transfer teleportation? My teleportation quirk is weird. I couldn't travel here without the young one's permission." And Inko's like, that doesn't explain. And he's like, he looks Inko in the eyes, and he's like, Mother Midoriya, I'm not a threat to you or your child. Like the messages said, I'm here to help the young one. He doesn't have a quirk, yes, and he wants to be a hero. Well, I will train him for some time. Obviously with your permission. But on the weekends and during the summer breaks, he will come with me. And, well, I can't speak much more longer. I will be here next week in person. This is, I'm not actually here. This is a hologram. In any case, it was great seeing you. And he turns to Deku and he's like, young man, in the next week, you should keep this a secret between you and your mom. You can become a hero. And he turns to Inko. Always encourage him to be better and do better. You'll be his core, you'll be his rock, you'll be his foundation for what's to come. So with that, you beautiful souls, I'm going to end this part. No, I'm going to go on a little bit more. So the bright light fills the room again, and the man disappears. And on the screen, it says, my apologies, Miss Midoriya. But, Mother Midoriya, I wasn't really supposed to contact you because that's interfering with and the man just goes on rambling about nonsensical stuff, at least to Ingo and Deku. But Deku was just sitting there grinning and smiling. He's like, I can become a hero. And it reads up, and another message pops up. And young man, don't think you're better than anyone. You should be humble. And Deku is sitting there with a puzzled look on his face. And he's like, I don't understand. And the message says, this is where you come in, Mother Midoriya. I can train him to be a hero. And I can even help him out. Maybe come into his quirk. He may very well be a late bloomer, but he should at least focus on some martial arts and meditation. That night, Deku has another dream, and this time the people are clear. They have pointed ears, but they look human, at least to him. And he's just walking around, and the city is beautiful that he's in. And people are just bowing their head to him and putting one hand on their chest and extending one hand out to him. And he's like, wow, this is crazy. So that being said, you beautiful souls, I'm going to end this here. Sorry about the interruption and parts. I wanted to do this on one take, but I accidentally said something that is a spoiler. That being said, I again thank you beautiful souls for the 1.5k subs. I will continue doing videos, but with my current work schedule, it's looking like I may only be able to do uploads maybe once or twice, one or 2 days out of the week, because I'm working like 70 hours minimum, up to 80 hours every week now. Basically working a full shift at both my jobs, so I kind of need to decompress from that. but I should be able to at least do weekly uploads. The next couple of parts of this will come out tomorrow because I want to get part 0 completely done this week. Again, thank you, beautiful souls, for the 1.5k. This was my 1.5k sub special. I originally had something else planned out. A few of you do already know about that. Again, thank you again, and I will see you, beautiful souls, in the next video.